for a quorum. If anybody rolls in, we'll welcome on stage. You guys all ready to get her going?
Yeah.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. You know, go ahead and do the roll call for us.
Yes, sir. Ho,
Present.
Egbert,
Here.
January,
Here.
Kaufman, Bajan, Moon,
Here.
and Barrera.
Present.
We do have quorum.
All right, number 3 on the list here is public comments. See anybody? Any public comments? I don't think so. Next is discussion and possible action to approve the minutes from our last meeting on June 16th. What's your pleasure?
Make the motion, we dispense with the minutes of last meeting.
Motion from Larry,
I'll second it.
second from Russ.
Okay, Ho,
Yes.
Egbert,
Yeah.
January,
Yes.
Kaufman, Bajan, Moon,
Yes.
and Barrera.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, on to number 5, staff comments. Are you leading the way? Morning.
What I'd like to do, let me get that, is start at the top and go down, basically. I've got quite a few comments to make, but I know we just got an hour, but I think we should be able to get through most of that within the hour. I think I'm pretty sure I sent you out a memorandum the other day underneath staff comments. Today, there's going to be a presentation or a discussion and an update from John Strabick. He's the consultant on the grass, on growing 5 and 6, and some other things out there. Also, we'll be giving an update on DC Designs. That's the irrigation system. I'll just go ahead and, okay, John, I'm going to put you towards the end right quick, but DC Designs is the design company that designed our irrigation system. It's been 3 years. I've got them scheduled out to come out September the 1st to come and do an evaluation of the complete system. That is scheduled. They're supposed to be out the 1st, and it'll probably take a day, probably a day and a half. So that has already been scheduled for those people to come out and do an evaluation of that. Like everybody in the room knows, mechanical stuff wears out. Even the sprinklers wear out. So we just want to make sure we're getting our bang for the bucks, basically. So that's just to evaluate the whole thing. The next thing, I'm pretty sure, I think I've seen everybody else probably been out there over the past couple of weeks. I went out August the 3rd. I took a city staffer out with me to start taking notes, and city employees and multiple departments have come together to perform an extensive deep cleaning and maintenance throughout the entire course. To be honest with you, I thought we could get it done in probably about a week, probably about 2 months and a week we should be able to get done. But I've not been out the last couple of days. The departments that are out there have other duties, so we're trying to blend their duties into that to help the golf course out, just kind of making things presentable. You'll be seeing some improvements coming here and there, but I'm guessing within the next couple of months we should be from the back side to the front side and everything pretty well mowed, picked up, especially some of the debris that was left over from the flood 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago, getting all that stuff. There's no sense that should be still around. So I did hear some comments the other day where it was cutting too many trees, but that wouldn't, I don't know where that comment come from. But if I do.
Oh, okay. Was that you? Okay.
Because I think they're cutting way too much out of there.
All right. Okay. Along the bottom. Okay. We can talk later. Let's back up just a little bit.
if you have comments like that and you say them to other people, please address them to me. I get things done, all right? I mean, because I don't know, I'm not a, what do you call, a tree guy. I know people, that's kind of what he's there for. I can consult with him. But you and I could have a conversation. I heard that like second or third hand information, but I'm glad, because you and I can visit. And if you think it's too much, and if it's legit, I mean, we'll work towards doing what needs to be done correctly, okay?
Okay.
But we could talk about it today, but we've got a lot to cover today, but I'll come see you. How about that? Or meet you out there someday and you can buy me a hamburger and we'll visit or something, so.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, all right. So anyway, there's stuff like that, but I want to tell every one of you, you don't have to wait to this meeting to voice your concerns. I'm pretty well available, especially with technology today. Either email, you got my email address, or cell phone, 651-5000 is the city's cell phone. I'll even answer my personal cell phone. I will give you that personal number. Right now, we're kind of YouTubing right now, so I'll give that to you personally, and if you can't get a hold of, I can be reached 24/7, so. But I would appreciate, you don't have to wait to these meetings to voice your concerns. Brian's real good about reaching out when he has a question, and I appreciate that. But reach out. If you don't think something's being done right, just let me know immediately, and we'll start that process of maybe trying to correct a problem or even make it better, okay? They're the ongoing, what's happening out there, cleaning it up. I'm going to go some of the grounds and landscaping that I come up with, and is to remove and mow weeds along the perimeter of the parking lot. You'll see that's already been done. Removing weeds growing through the cracks in the parking lot. Evaluate fairways for uneven color and inconsistent turf growth. John will be addressing that shortly. Clean up weeds behind the restroom building near hole 3. Remove wooden pallets. There was a pallet located there, but I understand that pallet was covering up a septic tank cover or something like that. There's just no wooden pallet. Hopefully that's been removed. If not, there's going to be a decent cover putting out there. Repair, remove material currently covered by that pallet. I just talked about that. Cart pass. I'm going to talk about cart pass, but there were some places out there that were cut probably 2 or 3 years ago when we put in the irrigation system. Fill cracks and low spots and deteriorated areas in the cart paths with asphalt. Hole number 1, there was a ditch cut when the irrigation system was installed. I think that was taken care of. We even we leveled some cart paths over on the south side and make that where it wasn't so rough, but we could do small things like that. The irrigation system, this is kind of what I noticed out there. Conduct a complete evaluation, and this is something we'll be talking with Eric Christensen with that company when they get out here, is to provide a current watering schedule. They're going to be looking at that, helping Matthew with that. Verify that all the sprinkler heads are operating properly. Determine whether adequate water coverage is reaching the fairways and surrounding turf. Inspect the sprinkler heads to ensure vegetation is not obstructing the spray patterns. Evaluate whether sprinkler can be adjusted to produce a lower spray pattern for improved efficiency. Wind does blow, wind blowing 40, 50 mile an hour, and it's 105 out there. I mean, probably 3/4 of that water is dissipating. And the rest of that is just inspect the sprinkler head near hole number 13 to determine whether it's operational or free of obstruction. So, but that'll be something that DC Designs will be doing. Something appeared to me there that day, and I think you all got a copy of this, and we need to talk about it pretty extensively, is that emergency water supply. We have one source of water supply out there today, and we call it the golf course well. Evaluate the feasibility of connecting the existing golf course water well to the city's potable water distribution system as only an emergency backup. The connection would be used only in the event of failure of the golf course well. during emergency circumstances and would remain isolated from municipal system during normal operations. The evaluation should include engineering requirements, regulatory compliance, backflow prevention, estimated costs, and operation procedures, and necessary to ensure a safe and reliable contingency water supply. As I was out there that day, I got to think, if that well goes down and it's 105 degrees, we'd be in trouble. That process has already started. Fortunately, we still have guys on staff that were there when the lines were put in and disconnected from the system. We're putting together a contingency plan to get all those hooked back up with the proper plumbing so we can meet all rules and regulations. Only if the well ever goes down, we can throw a few valves together and get emergency water on the green. So that has already been initiated. And the other stuff that I sent to you is basically administration things that administration needs to look at and are currently reviewing. Operations and personnel, employee assignments and daily work responsibilities. Provide summary of duties assigned to each employee with particular attention to seasonal employees. This is just observations when I was out there that day. Evaluate current use of the golf carts by employees during today's inspection. Approximately 5 to 6 employees were observed on the course, with all but 2 utilizing individual golf carts. Determine whether current cart usage is operationally or necessary and efficient. Another thing that was noticed that day is the perimeter fencing. There is a master plan for perimeter fencing at a later date. When I say a later date, within the next couple of years. But we got barbed wire around there right now, and it just needs stretched up, more posts and stuff like that. That's something you're going to be seeing here hopefully within the next 30, 45 days, is fixing what we've got. Yeah, it's not the most nicest looking fence, but it could be tightened up and maybe takes, I think there's 4 or 5 wire, barbed wire there right now. 2 or 3 wires, all we need. Straight, new post, new corner posts and stuff like that, just to make it look nice. That's something that's going to be handled here soon. Course amenities, we've already removed some damaged and outdated sponsor signs from some few holes. We're being very careful because I want to apologize up front by the city of Guyman now that a lot of these sponsor signs were put up and the city of Guyman didn't take good care of them. And I apologize to, and I've tried to reach out to a couple of them, but some of those are out of business, but still those people gave their hard-earned money to the city of Guyman, and we didn't treat them very well. So we're going to turn things around on that. Some of them we're going to go ahead and replace anyway. Replace all worn out and damaged towel rags on the ball washers. There were several ball washers out there that had towels on them. Looked like the towels were at least 2 to 3 years old. I just got all over me. So they're just the little things that we're doing. Wooden benches. I think they've already been replaced, and they just took some 2x6s and they've already been replaced, which looked like to me it would just be it just made things look nice out there. I'm gonna turn around now. I'm gonna need to ask a question of Matthew or Jeff. Over on the south side, there was for the last 2 weeks there was a piece of sheeting off of metal over on Damon's Hill on the south side of the fence. It was gone this morning. I grinned because it was gone. Did any of your personnel pick it up?
You're talking about the little house that's
Yeah, there's a little house there, but on the fence, looked like a wind blowed from the southwest, and there's a chunk of, looked like the barn tin that blowed up against the fence for the last couple of weeks. Okay.
Somebody, one of the other departments may.
Okay, if you would find out who that was, they're gonna get 3 days paid vacation. That thing had been there for 3 weeks, and it's just sitting there, so be honest with me, I hope. And, but it was gone this morning at 6 o'clock. Yeah, that's what I thought. No. But anyway, it's just that little stuff like that. You're going to start seeing, I'm going to take a more active role. These guys will probably get tired of me being out there, but I don't care. That golf course needed somebody out there to kind of overlook and see what's happening. So with some of that's happening right now, you're going to see a major improvement, hopefully. No, you will see a major improvement. Because I'm going to just go off on a limb and say it's a $100 million investment the city of Guyman has. I mean, if we have to start over and build a new golf course, it'd eat up $100 million in a heartbeat. And it's something I feel like that, and I want to apologize to you. You're just an advisory, but you are out there in the community. You play golf, and you hear all this criticism. And that's why I said, come to me. Come to me. Don't go to Jeff or Matthew. Come to me. The buck stops right here. I can take care of that. If I can't take care of it, there's 2 city council members out there. They could get a city manager in there that can take care of it. So come to me with all your concerns, and we'll do the best we can do to go ahead and get that addressed. So I think it was just 2. I just see search. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, with that being said, I think that's really all the notes I want to talk about. Well, here's some I just wrote up. The objective is to improve the overall appearance and functionality and irrigation performances safely and operational efficiency of Sunset Hills Golf Course while establishing a consistent standard of maintenance throughout the facility. That's our main mission here in the next couple of months. There's something I want to bring up for the board today, and it's just for discussion purposes only. It has to do with conservation priorities, and we're talking about water at the golf course. Water is water to me, and I also want to talk about Thompson Lake, or the lake there at Thompson Park. I've been approached numerous times. As we all know, this whole region is going through a drought now like we've never seen before, I've never seen before. And the only water source that's in the lake right today is Mother Nature. The 2 wells used to, I think one of them was called the Elks Well. It's dry. We've pumped it. It's been gone for the last couple of years. The other source, it just run out, is over there by the pavilion on the east side of the lake, and we've pumped it. It just won't pump anymore. So as far as pumping water into the lake, that was the only 2 right now. I have a proposal, or something we've started looking at, is to pump the golf course well into the lake. I got some pros and cons here. Rerouting that well at certain times, and at the end of my presentation on this, you'll see where I'm headed with this. But that lake is a reservoir. At one time, I know previously when I was with the city back in the 2000s, it was used to irrigate from. And we had water coming into it, and the weather pattern was keeping that lake pretty well charged where we could use water out of it. Well, things have shifted just a little bit. So I'm looking at the feasibility of using the golf course irrigation well instead of potable water to put into the lake for a couple of reasons. I'm going to tell you some pros about it. No impact on the municipal drinking water supply. The golf course irrigation well is independent of the city's potable water system. Using water from this well does not reduce drinking water available to the residents or businesses here in Guyman. It increased the demand. It will not increase the demand on the city's wastewater treatment plant. affected municipal storage tanks and distribution pressure or interfere with stage 3 water conservation efforts. That's if we were just using that I'm going to call it a private well, the golf course well. Better public perception. If communicated properly, the public may be better understand that no treated drinking water is being used to put in the lake. The city is preserving potable water for essential uses. The water comes from a separate irrigation source already dedicated to non-potable purposes. It maintains Thompson's Lake. Adding water could protect fish and wildlife, reduce algae and odor issues, preserve park aesthetics and recreation opportunities, and help maintain shoreline stability and possible the irrigation of the golf course. Makes beneficial use existing infrastructure. The golf course will already exist with irrigation purposes. It has the availability and capacity beyond what is needed for the course. It may provide economic source of non-potable water for maintaining the lake. So if we turn that well where we could run into the lake, we could, it would have to be some plumbing to be done, but we could actually start irrigating out of the lake. Some cons against it. The golf course well is the only irrigation source available for maintaining the greens, tees, and fairways. We have to keep that in mind if we start utilizing that well for the Thompson Lake. Using significant quantities of water to fill the lake could reduce irrigation available to the golf course, stress turf during the hottest months, increase risk and damage greens and fairways, which are expensive to restore. Well capacity. Questions that could be answered included: can the well produce enough water for both the golf course and the lake? Will pumping additional water shorten the life of the pump? Will continuous pumping lower the groundwater level or reduce pumping efficiency? We pulled records on the golf course well a couple of weeks ago when we started drafting this proposal. The well right now has 4-inch pump in it. She's 380 feet deep, pumps 350 gallons a minute. It's been pumping 350 gallons a minute for the last 3 years. I went back 3 years, 350, pretty solid. So what I'd like to do, as we're researching this, do a hydraulic evaluation and on kind of how we did on our wastewater project, just to see what the formation is and see if it would be even feasible about turning that well on and letting it run. There might be a lot of water in it, we just don't know. There appears to be, but I'd like to know from a scientific aspect of just what the aquifer looks like and just how big it is down there, and to make some decisions here in the near future. Some of the cons: increased operation costs. All the water is not treated. It still costs electricity, pump maintenance, equipment wear, labor, and the possible future rehabilitation. I will tell you that well was completely pulled out back in November. In wintertime, I think we took about 3 or 4 days, had a company sitting on standby. They pulled the well. Knock on wood, it was fixing to crater anyway. So a brand new pump was a submergible 4-inch pump was put in. I think we replaced at least 2 joints of pipe that had already been. We wouldn't get all the water to the top of the ground anyway. Another thing on the cons, we hadn't looked into it. The city could verify that using the golf course irrigation well to supplement the lake is consistent with the well's permitted uses, even though it is just I don't want to call it an agricultural well, but not potable. We still have to report all of it to the Oklahoma Water Resources Board. Make sure everything, our groundwater regulations and local and state water management requirements are being met. So that's just some of the things that we're looking into to help maybe offset some of the water conditions out there. Still, the public perception, believe it or not, we have eyeballs looking at us all the time. Some residents may not understand the distinction between potable and non-potable water. Without clear communication, people may assume the city is using drinking water. We're just going to have to educate the public, and we've started that. We'll be able to educate most of the public, but there's still going to be some of the public we're not going to be able to get that message across. The water used to supplement Thompson Lake comes from the golf course irrigation well, which is completely separate from the city's drinking water system. No potable water is being used, and the city's conservation measures remain fully in effect. That is something I have to repeat constantly. And that's one of the reasons why I gave the instructions about 30 days ago to start watering at night, because I knew stage 3 was fixing to happen, that nobody in the town can irrigate their lawns, and that they deeply care for during the daytime, or except maybe just one day a week. Because you would not believe the amount of people that drive around the golf course and see it being watered during the day. Why do they get to do it, and me living at 1415 North Academy, I just pulled that, I don't know who lives there, but why can't I do that? But that's something, that is one of the reasons I gave the directive to water at night. And there was a little miscommunication between myself and Matthew, but I take full responsibility for that. I should have communicated better. He should have probably listened better. But that's still my responsibility. I take full responsibility to that because of some of the cool grasses wasn't getting sufficient enough water on the fairways and just died. I can't do anything about it, but we hopefully kind of turn things back around, and we're putting all the water we can on it during the day. We'll just have to take that public criticism and try to educate them to where we're at right now. So I wanted you to understand that I'll take full responsibility for all the dead grass that's out there, if all the cool grasses that died because of lack of water, and when we were just trying to make both sides happy. Some recommendations. This comes from staff here. The golf course irrigation well has sufficient production capacity, and its use is consistent with regulatory requirements. Using non-potable irrigation water well to maintain Thompson Lake is a more defensible option than using treated drinking water during a conservation emergency. Before proceeding, I put I here, but I would recommend that the city evaluate the well's sustainability pumping capacity, the irrigation demands needed to maintain the golf course, the volume of water required to maintain Thompson Lake, and any applicable regulatory and water rights limitation. The reason I said that is that there's a good possibility when all that is researched here over the next 30, 45 days, there could possibly be a recommendation going to City Council with this proposal. This is still in the discovery part of going to City Council. I can't make that. I don't want to make that decision. I will make a recommendation to the City Council, but after all the data, after everything is looked at, and the City Council will be making that decision. Here's a new policy I think we're thinking about in doing, and this will also go to the City Council. During the declared water emergency, the city shall not use potable drinking water to supplement Thompson Lake. If supplementation is determined to be necessary, the city may consider the use of an independent, non-potable irrigation well, provided that such uses does not adversely affect golf course operations, complies with all applicable and regulations, and does not impact the city's municipal drinking water system. This approach demonstrates that the city is protecting its drinking water resources while responsible evaluating whether an independent, non-potable source can be used for park and environmental purposes without compromising essential services. So some of the stuff that's in plan, which is hopefully be coming down the pike pretty soon on water conservation.
I have a question.
Certainly.
The two wells, the Elks well and the other one at the pavilion, has anybody looked at those to see if they're just not deep enough, or?
Well, there's a big misconception about water being deep enough. We've already taken that precaution on the Elks well. A couple of years ago, we had the guy come out and tried to lower it. You can't get any deeper. We'd have to go back in there, and if it's even possible, that well might be sitting on Red Bed itself in the Ogallala right now. So you've got the Ogallala, then the Red Bed is the bottom of the Ogallala.
Right.
We probably are 95% sure that the casing sits in Red Bed as of today. Without doing some, and I think I spoke about it, and we use the same technology. It's called electrical resistivity imaging. I would, if we went that way, I'd love to do that imaging project to see what the size of the formation, but right now, with the technology that I've seen and I've looked, there's just no way you can go deeper. There is probably another, I think the Dockham Formation is underneath the Ogallala right now, but we are talking 1,000, 1,200 feet or something like that. So that probably might just be cost prohibitive, but without doing some scientific research and stuff like that, I don't think we could drill them any deeper.
Well, it just
My
sounds-
opinion.
It just sounds like it's gonna be quite a strain on the golf course well to do this.
I agree. I just bringing everything to the surface, basically. And you're right, Larry, it could be a real good strain. Then again, who knows? The environment might turn it back around. We might be getting an inch of rain that week, and the lake will remain full, so.
And then that treated, years ago, they talked about running the treated water that's out there
Yeah,
west of town.
yeah. That's still in process. Thank you, Larry, for bringing that up. On the Mesa Water Project, we're in phase 2. We have a pre-construction meeting Thursday to start drilling the wells out there. And I call it on the back side of that, there is plans. So there are 2 wells on the western part, on west of the airport over there, number 24, I believe. And there's, across the road, there's another irrigation well that are capable enough, but they have high nitrates, and that's the only reason why it's not being pumped inside the city limits, is they're pretty high in nitrates, but those high nitrates can be used for irrigation purposes. And there is a set of plans to bring that water into the dry Gulf Creek portion, run it through the golf course into the Thompson Lake. There are plans there, but that's, I'm saying on the backside, that's at the end of the Mesa Water Project. So there's all kinds of different things we're looking at this particular time, but if I'd be safe to say within 5 years, we'll have water coming into that lake from somewhere, and I just don't know which way.
And when do you expect to have those wells out east of town?
By March, or probably mid 2027. It's looking now. I just heard some reports, the availability of some electrical parts, not anything for the plumbing part of it. Could be back in 2027. We're still talking 2027, but the latter part of 2027. I've not seen that in writing yet, but the contractor that got the bid on phase 2 just notified that they're having a hard time getting some electrical parts and what's needed. So it's probably safe to say you and I both could be drinking water in 2027, the latter part of 2027. And that's not that far off, so say a year and a half.
I have, since Larry asked, I have a couple of comments, pros and cons wise, just historically to say on that, is that most of your golf courses run out of a reservoir instead of straight out of the well. So I see that as a win, long-term. I think it gives you a little bit of redundancy in the fact that the lake is there holding the water for you already, in case the source coming out of the ground has a hiccup. It also gives you the availability to put in a pump that pulls out of the lake at whatever GPMs you want. So then your problem with watering at night and still getting sufficient coverage is fixed. It would be an investment. I'm sure you know all these things. I'm just
I
taking
like the way
moment
you're
to-
talking.
Taking
Yes.
the moment to agree and disagree on certain stuff. I know that it's been a problem in the past. I'm sure pumping technology improved, but debris out of the lake at one point was a problem. This is 20 years ago, so I'm sure anything you put in new would have filtration there. But I like the idea. I mean, I'm not here to discuss the long-term watering plan for
Sure.
the Panhandle, right? I'm
Sure.
more just specific to the
You
golf
bet,
course, but.
you bet. Well, Brian, I'm glad there's something else too about the lake itself. I've been in this business a long time, and anytime a municipality is mandated to keep something up, there's always an agency, like it or not, we're going to be paying for it through the federal, state side. There's always funding. I brought this up to one of the councilmen the other day that the lake could be, I'm just saying could be, designated as a reservoir for wildfire fighting purposes. I mean, it just makes sense.
That would be a great resource for the community.
I totally
get
agree.
federal funding
And
and state
there's federal funding out there now, especially because of some things that's happened, and it's devastated some parts of the world because they have no water. And these reservoirs are being built for just wildfire fighting purposes. That could be a possible. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do, but I'm chasing that rabbit down that hole right
I
now.
think exploring those options is
Yeah.
a good way to cover the
Then
financial.
the city would be mandated to keep that lake full at all times.
Yeah.
Now, city council might not like that word mandated, but sometimes it comes with pros and cons, so, yeah. Yeah. So I keep saying there's a little bit of light at the tunnel, but it all depends how we chart this course. I know I've talked a lot about conservation and water, kind of where we're at, where we're headed. We got some good, like I said, there's good positive things happening out there. I feel like the course is kind of taking on a little different facelift right now. I want to go back to when I first started talking about, we all met one day, and it was nice to have a room full of directors. That's what I call my superintendents. We had gas, water, sanitation, we had streets, we even had city clerk sitting in there. They was all willing to pitch in and go help these two guys out here. I mean, there's no questions asked. I mean, they need help, boom. 2 days later, we had some like 20-some guys out there, probably 10, 15 machines. So that's a good feeling to see all your people come together for, I mean, and I'm sure if the wastewater needed somebody to go out there and clean out a pond, we'd get the same results. So that was comforting to see that many people come together in a room and says, yeah, we'll get her started tomorrow. And they actually got started the very next day. So that was a good feeling. Now, let's talk about Cart Pass. I wish we'd already had it done, but bureaucracy is a pain in the south side if you're headed north. You kind of see where I'm going with that. We finally got everything signed, sealed, and delivered. Matthew, did they come out and draw on the ground yesterday?
Yeah, Monday.
There you go. So we're getting closer. So you're going to see some activity out there on the Cart Pass.
Get
And
a sneak
yeah.
peek of where that's going?
Huh?
Where's the planned area?
12? Yeah. That, I think there's 1,700 feet there, that no long stretch out there. And I'll be honest with you, and we run it through this board, but I thought it would be a good place to get a big old long stretch like that. It's just being positive. I think that's going to show a lot of initiative that the city of Guyman and Sunset Hills is on being proactive and trying to make that course kind of to the next level. So anyway.
With that, I've had a question on, people keep asking on like 5 and 6 where they've put the ropes up and all that, and where it's kind of worn down. Is that going to be a proposed kind of direction of a cart path, or
You know,
have you?
I think it is. I'm not seeing the, I'm going to use this word. Y'all looked at it and we passed it on city council and they adopted the path and everything. So, yeah, I'm sure that'd be pretty close to what it would be, if I remember right.
It's very close by my memory.
Yeah.
That's what I was, I told them I believe so, but I just need to
Yeah.
get that's
Yeah,
been,
yeah.
it's been a big question because it's kind of worn, where it's been worn down and worn out, so.
Yeah, yeah, it's taking a lot of activity out there.
Hey, Mike, when is that proposed to do 5 and 6? That's, those cart paths?
I couldn't tell you right now.
I don't know if there was a way where they could.
They're doing 1,500 a year, 1,500 foot a year is the.
I'll be honest with you, there's
proposal.
and I hate to say, well, golly, I hate to, we have just X amount of money,
Right.
and I hate to say that, because that, never mind. I just, yeah, it's scheduled to get done.
I'm just asking
Yeah.
because since we have all the golf carts going down that direction.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If there's going to be any kind of like, you keeping up with the actual, because when we played a couple weeks ago, I mean, it's just getting worn down.
Yeah, yeah. And if it needs some maintenance,
And it's not being done next year.
if it needs some maintenance, give me a call. Give me a call.
Also, I mean, John will probably get to this, but
Yeah.
at some point, those ropes and stakes will come up.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Once the grass is
Yeah.
cleared, which is.
It'd be nice to
anytime,
get
I'm sure, but-
6 foot of pavement out there and everything, yeah.
So,
But, there was something that come up the other day. I don't know, apparently when you start doing a public project like that, there's more engineers you can shake a stick at coming out of the woodwork. This was engineered to the City of Guyman specifications. I can provide you the specifications if you have somebody out there that's asking you questions. So all the cart path is done to City of Guyman's paving specification. That's base. Yes, it will be inspected. It will have moisture density. The company Standard Testing is the testing company that's been in business for 75 years. They will be handling all their testing of the quality of concrete, the density of the base and everything. It's being put in like we make everybody else in this room follow the rules by the City of Guyman standards. So that's what the cart pass. Now, is it going to be a perfect product? Yeah, we'll find out. But concrete has a mind of its own. It'll crack. I guarantee you there will be cracks in concrete if we do it right. There'll still be cracks in it, but it'll be done to the City of Guyman standards. Or this boy here won't, or this person won't even be paid. So
Are they going to close Old 12 while they lay concrete?
I talked to Matthew the other day. It'd be my opinion, because you're going to have guys, if you play golf like me, that guys over there are going to get hit. I can guarantee you. So we've talked about that. So I don't know, 1,000 feet plus, they could probably have that done. I don't know. John and I could probably have it formed up in about a week. No. But I don't know. I've never seen this company before. They come highly recommended by some people. And City Councilman Liberal thinks they're the worst company in the world, but we'll find out. But we have safeguards on that. We have insurance. We have bonds that if it's not done correctly, bingo, we'll get it done correctly. But there's a possibility of that hole being closed for a while.
when they do number 12, a lot of times they have overrun of concrete when they're done. Could we not get number 1 formed up to where they could come dump that extra concrete in there? And
We're not going to, I see where you're coming from. If one needs to be, if it needs to be fixed, let's do it right.
yeah,
When I say do it right, there's going to be a considerable lot of tree roots going to be cut out of there. That'll take about a week to get that done.
Yeah.
So your overflow or stuff like that, hopefully there's not going to be a lot of overflow. Hope they bid that out just right,
Yeah.
they have sufficient enough concrete. But if number one hole needs to be corrected, thank you for recommended that. We'll see what we can do to that. But that, if I remember right, there's a big old tree in the roots there. That's going to take some pretty good dirt work and stuff like that. Now, we could temporary it, but you know how temporary
I
it
think
goes.
Larry's mentioned it several times, you know, that's your first impression of the golf course,
I agree with
you
you.
know, so,
Yeah, you're right, unless you start on 10.
yeah.
And
No.
this is another thing that we've talked about before, but I think that just being out there this summer, we really need some signage to direct people to the holes. I don't know what that takes, but like, if you've had people that have never golfed out there before from out of town, you know, when you go from, you know, say even say somewhat 1 to 2, but just say that you go from 11 to 12, you know, sometimes they stop at 17 because they think they're supposed to tee off there. Like, just directional, we've just seen that where all of a sudden we've got a group in front of us and we're like, where did they come from? Because
Yeah.
they just didn't know where to tee off from. So I feel like that would help with some of the,
Stopping at 7.
well, and then when you come from 14 to 15, like, there's just some, you know, direction and signage in that regard.
I'll put that on the list. That just makes sense.
And it's not anything, I mean, if you just think, if you have never been out there and you've never played, which I know a lot of us, we've lived here and grown up out there, but you have a lot of people that are coming in from out of town to play the course, and you don't know where to go next sometimes.
But there again, give me a call. If you'd called me a couple of weeks ago, we probably already had signs made.
Well, I think we've discussed it
No.
a little bit through our meetings,
Okay.
but it's just.
And
there are
I've
the
been,
bigger-
I've been
better
at a lot of
problems,
those
I guess.
meetings, and it kind of goes in one end,
Yeah,
there,
well,
out the other, but.
It's bigger, it's a bigger problem, you know, it's not that major of a problem, but, when it's busy, when the course is busy and you're playing on a weekend, and maybe you've got some weekend warriors out there that don't know where to go, all of a sudden we have a cluster, and tempers get a little hot, just because it slows up
Sure,
your round,
sure.
screws you up.
It just makes sense,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Just got played
Yeah.
in the week.
Some of
But
us work
I will tell you, I was going to bring you the financials. I'll email them to you right now, and I'll just be about as honest as I can be with you right now. There's about a $300,000 deficit in the golf course budget right now, but that's expected. And I just want you to keep that in mind, because there's still going to be a lot of stuff being done out there. There's going to be some concrete steps poured, and I look at that as a life, health, and safety. It was great 25, 30, 40 years ago to use cross ties, but they're gone. We're lucky we've not had to turn in some claims for broken ankles, legs, and et cetera. So you'll be seeing some steps being put in, some tee boxes. So, and I guarantee you they'll be put in the wrong place, but they're going to be brand new, and that meet, believe it or not, ADA accessible steps and stuff. So.
I have one other comment too. When you're doing the fences, a lot of those crawl-throughs, they've got a piece of wire connecting the top. It's barbed wire. It'd be nice to have some smooth wire.
Totally agree with you, Larry.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Okay.
And yeah, and that perimeter fence, and there you go, we got $100 million facility out there, and we got 5-strand barbed wire that might be up, might be down, might be twisted. I mean, you'll see barbed wire stretch, probably still be barbed wire, but it's just going to be cleaner and more presentable.
Well, I've ruined a couple of shirts trying to get onto it.
Well, as long as the walkthroughs aren't laid over like this, or so low you can't,
Yeah, yeah,
us old people can't get
Yeah.
down that low.
yeah.
Need
Well,
to stay in the fairway?
Stay in the fairway.
Yeah,
Well, that would be.
that ain't happening.
okay. With that, I know we got about, John, can I give you 10 minutes or? Okay. Oh, why? Well, I asked John to come here today. The city of Gavin hired John to come out. It's kind of funny. City managers do meet once in a while and visit. And Bartlesville, right? Yeah, I can't think, well, the city manager, we were sitting there one day, he and I was sitting there, just happened to be visiting, and we were talking about golf course, and he says he's fixing to get, well, don't take us wrong, he's fixing to get rid of John. Well, he'd done all he could do back there. And that's when I contacted John and the city manager there in Bartlesville. If you ever played in Bartlesville, that's where John had worked and consulted. I know I was asked that question by somebody the other day, but John come finally highly recommended, and so far I've been satisfied with what he's presented. He's not a perfect person, none of us are, but I value his opinion. And John, I'm going to turn it over to you right quick and maybe talk about 5 and 6 and growing the grass and everything.
Afternoon.
Hi.
I definitely won't talk that long. But anyway, as Mike said, I was brought in to evaluate the fairway grass and so forth on the golf course. And when I first came, it was in the winter, and all I saw was a mix of a lot of different grasses throughout the golf course. And that kind of got me thinking about what really would be best for Guyman. I'm not overly familiar. I did work for 3 years in Duncan at a course out there, so kind of a similar environment, but not quite the intense heat that you have here. So with the low humidity that you all have, cool season grasses do well, just as your greens are nearly perfect right now. Matthew's done a great job with those. But to deal with your heat, when you drive around the golf course right now, you do not see cool season grasses. All you see is Bermuda that's, that has withstood the heat and years of heat. And I think that is the grass that you should really consider going with overall. It has advantages. One, that it really doesn't take as much water to survive. It withstands the heat, and it's much easier to take care of as far as weed control. You're only dealing with a few products that you have to put out spring, fall, and then if you do have an outbreak, you can address it with a post-emergent in season. So, but the one thing that I have seen with your Bermuda grass, and I think through talking with Matthew and so forth, is that it needs more nutrition. It's been starving a lot, and that's why you don't see a lot of runners going out into your bare areas on the golf course. If it had more nutrients, you would see more runners being more aggressive going into those areas and working to cover up those areas. And so I think that when Mike looks at future budgets with Matthew and so forth, I think that's something that you all need to address is, an added nutrient. In talking with Matthew as far as what's been applied, you might only make one application of fertilizer on the golf course and on the fairways and roughs a year. Maybe two if there's some extra money. And, Bermuda's going to need 3 to 4 pounds of nitrogen. And that's a lot more than, one application for sure. You're looking at probably an ideal range would be somewhere between 3/4 and a pound of nitrogen per application. And putting them down at the right time. If you only have the one grass, you only have to feed one variety. When you have a variety of grasses, you have to try to pick a time to take care of the cool season grasses, and hopefully it extends into the warm season grasses. But I don't think that's been happening. I think the Bermuda grass has been starving for nutrients for a number of years here. So, getting back to hole 5 and 6, I think that's everybody's main concern probably right now is it probably, and I'll be honest with you, it isn't exactly where I'd like it to be. Kind of a tough time that we had with the weather and the water issues and an ongoing heat. It hasn't progressed to where I really would like to have seen it go. There's some there, but Matthew and I were talking this morning that we need to push more fertilizer. Right now, we've only put out maybe a pound of nitrogen since June 15th, I think was our plant date. We're gonna put out more here very quickly, and we're also going to address the existing weeds. We've made one weed application, but some of those weeds, the spurge and so forth, were so thick that I don't think that there was enough spray to move that chemical all the way through the plant. If it was just a small weed like this, it got it. There's many areas that we have, brown weeds or just remnants of weeds. But there's other places that they're still healthy. One of the issues that decision that I had to make when I suggested the herbicide application was that the Bermuda grass was just new. It was just germinated. And we have to be very careful. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we needed to wait 14 to 21 days before we could really make a strong herbicide application. When you make a herbicide application, you also want to add a surfactant. That surfactant helps the chemical get into the plant and move through the plant. And we were not able to do that because temperatures were 100 degrees. Matthew had to make the application when it was cool, below 80 degrees. So as an early morning application, and I was afraid that if we use the surfactant, we may get a lot of tip burn, leaf burn on the Bermuda grass, and that's something we didn't want to happen. And so we weren't as efficient with the herbicide as we probably should have been. This next application, we will use a surfactant with that herbicide as well. Now, just to be clear, the goosegrass and some of the crabgrass, there isn't a lot of it, but there is some, will not be addressed with that issue. You have to use a completely separate herbicide to get those weeds. So there'll still be some weeds out there, but they're going to be going away. Okay. Overall, like I said, the Bermuda grass on the golf course is good, but it just needs, just like everybody, it needs some food, and hopefully we can do that. Matthew did make some test areas on what holes were those, Matthew? 12 and 15, and I think that grass is a little bit greener. There was a low rate of nitrogen, I think 1/3 of a pound, and it looks a little bit better. I also put down a wetting agent as well to help hold some moisture. So I think there's things that you can do to improve your playing surface, but as with everything, it's a dollar figure and how much the city is able to allot to that and so forth. So, any questions right now?
I have a question on the Bermuda. So if you're saying Bermuda, then, okay, so then in the wintertime it goes dormant.
It does go dormant.
So are you having to restart, every time springtime comes around, you're having to restart the whole, like it's going back and then with your carts driving over the whole winter time?
Well,
I guess
you know,
is my
that
question.
is, that's gonna be one of the beauties maybe of our house going forward. Where, you see what staying off, some of your 5 and 6 have done for 4, 5, and 6. It's a much healthier grass. You know, if you can restrict some traffic, on cart paths during the winter months, that's a huge, huge step forward. Maybe it's not the whole fairway, maybe it's just part of the fairway. But if you can instigate a 90-degree rule instead of just the up and down traffic that is going all over the golf course all the time. This morning, Matthew and I were driving through an area, it's one of the barriers on the hole. And I mean, this was at 8 o'clock in the morning. And there were at least 5 golf carts that had driven through that area already. And it was just straight right down the middle of the hole. You know, golfers, I think, you know, you're part of it, have to bear some responsibility as well to, you know, the traffic. And, you know, say to your partners, hey, let's not drive over there. And stuff like that. It's not popular. I've been, I was a superintendent for 40 years. So I've seen, you know, what people don't do and what they don't like to do. And I've seen what small things help a lot.
I'll talk to those guys tomorrow morning.
But, you know, it's, you know, if you can get a few carts not to drive in an area, it's, you know, it's just like, you know, traffic on the greens. You know, how many steps do people really walk around on it and you don't think it's that much, but it's huge. And that's why we have to irrigate. And that's why we have to vent the drains during the summertime. Why you put down some topsoil to, you know, support that surface and so forth. So they're necessary evils, and any little bit helps.
There you go. I've been jotting down notes. I'll run through them here. So my background is building budgets for a lot of stuff, so I'm going to ask kind of rhetorical questions here. So long-term grass plan for the course, just my opinion is that I do prefer, I'm saying this mostly for Matt's sake almost, I do prefer the look of a cold season grass, but I realize where our golf course sits, and I also realize that you go to any other well-maintained course in the state of Oklahoma, east of here where they get more rain, they're running Bermuda fairways. So I think that even though I enjoy the look of a cold season grass, I think that's the future of the course in the fairways is that Bermuda strain developed there in Stillwater.
You know,
So,
just to interrupt you,
Yeah.
just a little bit, my assistant is from Oklahoma, and he came here, he's played in your which tournament for a number of years. And he called me afterwards and we were talking and stuff, and he said, "Man, I hate to see you push that Bermuda because I really like that cool season grass."
Sure.
But he says, "I understand that." You know, aesthetically, it's, you know, if you have a great stand, if you have a good stand, it's great. But when it's hodgepodge,
Yeah.
I think it's ugly.
Yeah.
I'll just be very honest.
It's already 30% Bermuda I said it's already 30% natural Bermuda just by the nature of not preventing Bermuda, right? So, I mean, that's on that side. So secondarily, what the long-term plan for that grass is, whether it's Bermuda or otherwise, seems like Bermuda is the way to go. Is that in the budget, long-term wise? I'd certainly like to see some kind of schedule on that like you have for the golf carts, right? Mentioning carts and traffic, I know that every year probably, and I've talked to Mike a little bit about this, but we periodically look at redoing the carts. Carts come with GPS controls. not all the private users. We'll take care of those guys. You guys don't do it at all. I'm sure it's not you guys. Yeah, as far as the fleet is concerned, I sure would like to see us look at GPS on those carts so we can control and do odds and evens. 90% rule, you name it. That fixes that problem. And then, of course, he mentions more feed and more spray. So are we budgeting for that plan that he's putting into place? That's all I had. Comments? Answers, you ready? I'll pass it to you. John or Mike.
Well, I'll address just what you just said. Those GPS. Thank goodness we're living in the world of technology. It's getting cheaper. 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, putting GPS in anything that's going to cost you is costly. Yeah, we're looking at new carts.
We're looking at new carts now, and I think those will be 4 years old. I like 5-year rotation on any equipment. I don't care if it's a bicycle or a motor grader. So we're looking at that, and GPS is our yeah, I mean, it's almost standard operating procedure now on golf courses. Yes, the long-term goals on the grass is being developed, and so you'll see that worked in that. Some of the works behind the scenes, everything, we're living in a society of data now. I mean, we got to know when you get up, when you go to bed, you know, what you did between here, and that. It all works itself in for us to, if we want to be where we're wanting to be in the next 5 years, we're going to start asking more of the general golfing public for more information. This is going to be news to everybody in this room, except Ginger and I. And we're going to need your help. I heard Larry said you'll help us here, and I'm just going to piggyback onto that. We are going to have sign-in sheets. We need to know how many people are out there. We need to know if they're members or not. We need to know if they're going to be playing 9 or 18 holes. We need to know if you're walking, if you're using a city cart or a private cart. You will be required to check in. None of this driving from your house, starting on hole 9. If we catch you, there'll be a policy to where we're just going to ask you to leave, okay? This data is going to be so important for everybody for the future of this golf course for a lot of different reasons. So Matthew and Jeff, I'm going to visit, if I can, right after this. I need to visit with you about that. But it's going to be a pain. You're going to have to drop by and say, hey, I'm Gilbert. I got my own cart, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it won't take, once you get used to it, it'll be easy to do. But this data that we're going to start gathering is going to be so important for the future. So I plead for you to help us out just a little bit, and you will. I mean, good grief. With that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I got to say today. And again, I say, if you got a problem, give me a call. Call City Hall. About said call 911. Don't do that. Call 651-5000 or 338-3396. They can get a hold of me. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Any other comments?
Just really quick, just a reminder, your next meeting is October 20th, and the fall OML training is September 23rd at 6 o'clock.
All right, next thing on the list is adjournment. What's your pleasure?
Make-
All right.
Second that.
Okay, Ho,
Yes.
Egbert,
Yes.
January,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Fajan, Moon,
Yes.
and Barrera.
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned.